Today, we're wading into a pretty serious technical debate. It's one that really defines professional photography choices in this mirrorless age.
Yeah, we're looking at two giants from Canon.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The ones anchoring the R System professional lineup.
Yeah.
You've got the benchmark setting R5 that landed back in July 2020.
Still a beast of a camera.
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
And then there's the R6 Mark II, which came out in November 2022. Much more refined, focused on efficiency.
And this is such a crucial conversation, isn't it? Because it's not just, comparing specs on paper. It's really about choosing a professional direction.
Mm-hmm.
Are you someone who needs the absolute peak resolution, top-end video specs?
Mm-hmm.
Or is your work more about, say, operational reliability, killer low-light performance, maybe workflow speed?
And it's a big investment we're talking about, multi-thousand dollars.
Mm-hmm.
So we've unpacked a whole stack of professional comparisons, reviews, deep dives to really help you see the nuances here.
That's the goal.
Our mission, really, is to give you that detailed info, not just the numbers, so you can figure out which camera truly aligns with your specific needs, your work.
Yeah, because the R5, it came out swinging, right? 45 megapixels, 8K video.
Yeah.
It set this almost impossible standard.
Totally. Then the R6 Mark II arrived, and it felt like Canon listened. They refined the formula, enhanced AF, doubled the burst speed.
And crucially, unlimited video recording. That was huge.
Huge, and all at a price point that's significantly lower. What is it, about a $1,400 difference just for the body?
Around that, yeah. And that price gap, it forces you to think strategically, doesn't it? Where is your budget best spent?
Exactly.
But to really understand that value, we have to start at the heart of it all. The sensor.
Okay, let's unpack that, the sensor. It's the most obvious technical split between these two, and it really sets up the core trade-off we'll see again and again. Resolution versus, well, low light power.
That's absolutely it. The R5 is engineered to be a resolution monster. Simple as that. It's got that 45 megapixel full-frame CMOS sensor.
Whereas the R6 Mark II, Canon deliberately scaled that back to 24 megapixels.
Right, and that's an immediate, 87% difference in just the raw pixel count. It's massive.
And look, for a lot of clients, especially in certain fields, that raw pixel count, it's non-negotiable.
Definitely. If you're shooting commercial assignments, things like large format advertising, maybe detailed architectural work.
Billboards, yeah.
Exactly. The R5's 45 megapixels give you undeniable advantages. It's the resolution you need to satisfy those demands.
Or think about cropping. If you need serious cropping flexibility, maybe for stock libraries, or just reframing after the fact, you need those pixels.
Mm-hmm. Maintaining detail at huge print sizes, like 300 dpi on a massive print. The R5 is built for that.
But there's always a but, isn't there? That resolution comes with a cost. A hidden tax, maybe? We'll get into the workflow stuff later.
We will. But for now, let's explore the trade-off right here at the sensor level. Because when you talk low light, you got to look past the megapixel number.
Right. You need to look at the actual physical size of the pixels themselves.
This is where it gets really interesting. It's basic physics, really.
How so?
Okay, the R5 has 45 million tiny light collectors packed onto that full frame sensor. The R6 Mark II, with only 24 million pixels on the same size sensor. Well, those pixels are physically much larger.
Okay.
Our sources get specific here. The R6 Mark II's pixels have an area of about 36 square micrometers. That's a huge 86% bigger than the R5's pixels, which are down around 19.3 square micrometers.
Wow, 86% bigger, so almost double the physical area per pixel on the R6 Mark II. What does that actually do for image quality?
It directly means better photon gathering ability. Think of it like buckets catching rain.
Right? Great.
The R5 has loads of small buckets, great for fine detail. The R6 Mark II has fewer but much larger buckets. These bigger pixels just collect light more efficiently.
Which means more signal.
And more signal relative to the noise, a better signal-to-noise ratio. And that's the key to cleaner images when you have to crank up the ISO.
So for the photographer who's actually out there working events, weddings, photojournalism, often in really terrible dim light,
yeah, exactly.
the R6 Mark II's low light advantage isn't just a spec, it's practical. It means usable shots at, say, ISO 12,800, maybe even higher.
Absolutely. You're getting files that are still quite acceptable, with manageable noise, even pushing towards ISO 25,600.
And Canon specs back this up, right? The native ISO range.
They do. The R6 Mark II's native range goes all the way up to 102,400. That's double the R5's max native ISO of 51,200.
Okay, most people aren't shooting final images at ISO 100K.
Probably not. But that massive headroom, that difference in the native range, it just confirms the R6 Mark II's design focus. It's built to gather usable light where the R5 would struggle more, require more noise reduction in post.
Interesting. Now, both cameras use the same 𝐔𝐥 processor, which is powerful. How does that pixel size difference play out with dynamic range? Handling bright highlights and deep shadows in the same shot.
Well, in theory, under absolutely perfect controlled lighting thing, like a landscape shot on a tripod with filters or a studio portrait with perfect metering.
Right, optimal conditions.
The R5's higher resolution could capture slightly more subtle tonal steps, just because it has more data points, more pixels recording those fine gradations.
But that's ideal world stuff.
That's the ideal world. Where the R6 Mark II really shines is shadow recovery. Because its larger pixels generate less noise inherently, especially when light is low. The files are much more flexible if you've underexposed to save highlights, say, at a sunset wedding reception. When you push those shadows up in post, the R6 Mark II file will show less distracting color noise compared to the R5.
So it's more forgiving in tricky high-contrast situations, more reliable for run-and-gun type work.
Exactly. It's a reliability champion in unpredictable lighting.
Okay, so R5 for absolute detail in good light, R6 Mark II for robust quality when the going gets tough.
Yeah.
That seems like a good summary for image quality.
I think so.
Let's shift gears then. From image quality to, well, reaction time. Speed.
Absolutely crucial. Photography often comes down to capturing the moment, doesn't it? Not just resolution.
For sure. If you're covering action sports, wildlife, even just fast-moving kids or events, autofocus and how fast you can shoot continuously, that's mission critical.
Non-negotiable for many pros.
Oh, autofocus. Both systems are pretty amazing on paper, using Canon's dual-pixel CMOS AF2. The R5 has, nearly 6,000 AF points. The R6 Mark II closer to 5,000.
Yeah, 5,940 for the R5, 4,897 for the R6 Mark II. But both give you basically 100% frame coverage, so point density isn't really the deciding factor.
So where's the actual operational difference? The advantage?
It comes down to low-light AF sensitivity. How well can it lock focus when it's really dark? And here, the newer R6 Mark II shows its refinement.
Yep.
It can lock focus down to EV6.5. That's exposure value minus 6.5. The L5 gets down to EV-6.
Now, that half-stop difference, -6 versus -6.5. It sounds small, but EV is logarithmic, right? What does EV6.5 actually mean in the real world?
It's incredibly dark. EV0 is like typical indoor room lighting. EV6 is already approaching starlight levels, so that extra half stop on the R6 Mark II, it's genuine real-world utility. It means the camera can potentially grab focus in conditions where your own eyes can barely make out detail.
Like what kinds of scenarios?
Think astrophotography, trying to lock onto faint stars. Or the darkest corner of a candlelit wedding reception where you absolutely can't use flash. Maybe focusing on a musician lit only by some deep blue or red stage light.
Right.
That half stop could be the difference between getting the shot and hunting for focus, wasting precious seconds.
Makes sense. What about tracking subjects? Both use Canon's deep learning AI, which is generally excellent. But the R6 Mark II is newer. Any improvements there?
There are some subtle refinements, yes. Both are great at tracking people, animals, vehicles, but the R6 Mark II benefits from slightly updated algorithms.
So what does that mean in practice? Like stickier focus?
Kind of, yeah. Slightly more tenacious tracking. Imagine a bird flies briefly behind a tree branch, or a runner gets blocked for a second by another player. The R6 Mark II might be marginally better at predicting where that subject should be and snapping focus back instantly when they reappear.
So, a little more reliable in cluttered scenes.
A bit, yeah. It's about that sticking power when things get messy in the frame.
Okay, now the big one. The headline grabber. Continuous shooting speed. Mechanical shutter. They're both the same, right? 12 frames per second.
Correct. 12 FOP's mechanical is very respectable, but switch to the electronic shutter.
And the R6 Mark II just goes nuts.
Yeah.
40 frames per second.
40. Double the R5's 20 FOP's.
Which is already fast. So 40 FOP's, is that actually necessary, or is it just overkill? Spec chasing.
It's a really valid question. I mean, 20 FOP's captures motion pretty darn well. Most editors would probably agree. But our sources consistently highlight that for really fast sports or unpredictable wildlife, 40 FOP's genuinely increases the mathematical probability of capturing the absolute peak moment.
You mean like the exact instant the ball hits the bat? Or the bird's wings are in the perfect position?
Precisely. It's not just about smooth motion. It's about freezing that millisecond of peak action, that single frame that tells the whole story.
The hero image.
Exactly, the one that sells. If the R5 gives you a sequence where maybe the absolute peak falls between frame 12 and 13, the R6 Mark II's density might give you 2 or 3 frames right at that peak. It gives you and your editor more choice. The capture efficiency is real, even if it means more culling later.
Speaking of efficiency, handling all that data, 45p's generates a lot of files fast. How's the buffer performance? Can it keep up?
It handles it surprisingly well. The R6 Mark II seems to have noticeably better buffer management. It can sustain those top speeds for longer before it slows down.
And clearing the buffer.
Pretty quick, especially with fast UHS-2 SD cards, which is what it relies on exclusively.
But the R6 Mark II has another trick up its sleeve for capturing the unpredictable, doesn't it? That pre-shooting buffer.
Ah, yes. This is genuinely transformative for certain types of shooting. It almost feels like magic.
How does it work?
It's clever engineering. When you enable it in the electronic shutter modes, the camera is constantly recording images to a temporary buffer before you fully press the shutter button, like up to half a second's worth of shots.
So it's recording the immediate pass.
Exactly. You press the shutter, and it saves not only the shots from that moment onwards, but also the fraction of a second leading up to it.
Wow. I can see how that would be amazing for, well, things you just can't anticipate.
Totally. A bird suddenly taking flight. A kid's spontaneous laugh, some fleeting expression at an event that your brain couldn't possibly react to in time.
It turns near misses into captures.
It provides an incredible safety net. It makes the R6 Mark II arguably the king of capturing the unpredictable moment.
Okay, that's a powerful feature. Now let's pivot. If you're a hybrid shooter doing both stills and video, this next part is critical.
Yeah, the video differences are stark. And the limitations here could genuinely dictate which camera is even viable for your business.
Let's start with the R5's big strength, resolution and quality.
Right. The R5 is still the leader here on paper. It offers true 8K video recording. That's 800/192 by 4,320 pixels.
And that 8K offers two key advantages, right?
It does. First, massive reframing ability in post. You can shoot a wide 8K master, then punch in significantly, maybe 200%, on a 4K timeline and still maintain native 4K sharpness. Huge flexibility.
And the second, oversampling.
Exactly. When you take that 8K footage and downscale it to 4K for delivery, the resulting image is incredibly clean and detailed, often visibly better than native 4K capture.
The R5 also does 10-bit internal recording, right? 4.2.2.
Yes, 4.2.2 10-bit internal, which is huge for color grading.
Explain that quickly. 10-bit versus 8-bit.
Sure. An 8-bit file, which is common, records about 16.7 million colors. A 10-bit file records over 1 billion colors.
Wow.
That massive difference means smoother gradients, think skies, skin tones, less color banding, and much more flexibility when you're pushing colors around in post, applying LUTs, doing serious grading.
Okay, so the R6 Mark II, how does it compare on the video front?
Well, it maxes out at 4K UHD, 3840 by 2160, which, let's be clear, is still the standard delivery format for almost everything YouTube, corporate video, even broadcast.
So it's perfectly fine for most jobs.
Absolutely. But it just doesn't have that raw 8K data capability or the oversampling benefit of the R5.
Now we get to the R5's big problem. The elephant in the room since launch day. Overheating.
Yes. Thermal management. Or the lack thereof, initially. This is the R5's Achilles heel for video pros.
It's the reliability issue. To handle all that 8K data or even high frame rate 4K, the R5 generates a lot of heat.
A lot of heat. And to prevent damage, Canon had to impose recording time limits.
And these limits aren't trivial, are they?
Not at all. In the highest demand modes, like 8K 30p or 4K 120p for slow motion, you might only get 20 minutes of recording from a cold start. Maybe less if it's hot outside.
And then it shuts down.
It shuts down to cool off. And you often need significant recovery time before you can even record another short clip. It just breaks the workflow.
So if you're an event videographer trying to film a 45-minute wedding ceremony.
Forget it. Not without external cooling rigs or constant babysitting.
Or a documentary filmmaker doing a crucial hour-long interview.
Nope. The R5 stock just isn't reliable for that kind of long-form work. It adds too much stress and complexity.
This is where the R6 Mark II's different philosophy really pays off then.
Absolutely. But by limiting the resolution to 4K, Canon designed the R6 Mark II to avoid those heat issues entirely.
So it offers
unlimited video recording across all its supported formats. It just doesn't generate that kind of heat load.
That's a game changer for reliability.
Totally transformative. If you shoot long interviews, events, documentaries, anything where you need the camera to just roll, the R6 Mark II gives you that peace of mind. No shutdowns.
Beyond just stability, the R6 Mark II also added some nice video-specific ergonomic touches, didn't it?
It did. Little things that make a big difference for hybrid shooters, like the dedicated photo-video mode switch.
Right, instead of digging in menus.
Exactly. You flip a switch, And the camera instantly adopts your preset video settings, shutter, aperture, frame rate, separate from your photo settings, keeps things fluid.
And lens breathing correction, what's that?
Ah, yeah, that's neat. Lens breathing is when the image seems to slightly zoom in or out as you change focus. It's common in stills lenses and looks kind of amateurish in video.
Okay.
The R6 Mark II can digitally correct for this breathing in camera with compatible RF lenses. It makes your focus pulls look much smoother, more cinematic without needing expensive cinema lenses.
Nice touch. Okay, last video point. Slow motion. How do they stack up?
It's a trade-off. The R5 can do 4K at 120 frames per second. Beautiful, high-resolution slow motion.
And the R6 Mark II.
It goes faster, 180 frames per second, but only at full HD 1080p resolution.
So it depends what you need. Cinematic 4K slow-mo. Go R5.
Right. But if you need maximum slowdown, that really dramatic time dilation for, say, sports analysis or super fluid action.
Then the R6 Mark II's 180 CPS is better, even if it's just full HD.
Exactly. It's about prioritizing resolution versus maximum frame rate.
Okay, we've covered image creation, capture speed, video. Let's talk about actually using these things all day, the operational workflow.
Yeah, the practical stuff, ergonomics, battery life, and the often overlooked total cost of ownership.
Physically, they're pretty similar, aren't they? Both pro-grade builds.
Very similar. Magnesium alloy bodies, weather sealed, same height with depth basically. The R6 Mark II is a tiny bit lighter, about 58 grams or so.
Which doesn't sound like much, but maybe after 12 hours?
It all adds up, but the big handling difference is the control layout.
Ah, the top LCD screen.
Exactly. The R5 has that classic top-mounted LCD info panel. Lots of pros coming from DSLRs love that. Glance down, see your settings.
Shutter, aperture, ISO, yeah.
The R6 Mark II ditches that panel to streamline the body, so you're relying entirely on the rear screen or the viewfinder to check settings.
Speaking of viewfinders and screens, the R5 seems to have the edge there too, resolution-wise.
It does. The R5's EVF is a higher resolution OLED 5.76 million dots versus 3.69 million on the R6 Mark II.
Is that a big difference in use?
It's noticeable. The R5's viewfinder is just incredibly crisp and detailed. Same for the rear LCD. The R5's is slightly larger and higher resolution too.
So better for critical focus checking, manual focus.
Definitely helps, yeah. Especially in tricky lighting or when you need to confirm focus instantly on location. But importantly, both have fully articulating screens.
Which is essential for video, low angles.
Absolutely. Big plus for both.
Okay, but all those high-res screens, the 45MP sensor, the 8K processing, that must take a toll on the battery.
No,
right?
does it ever? This is where the R6 Mark II absolutely dominates. It's not even close.
What are the numbers?
SciPR ratings, which are usually pretty conservative, put the R6 Mark II at around 580 shots per charge. The R5, about 320 shots.
Wow.
That's an 81% advantage for the R6 Mark II. Using the exact same battery, the LPE6NH.
That's huge for a working pro. That could mean needing half the number of spare batteries for a long wedding day.
Easily. It drastically reduces the hassle, the weight, the workflow interruptions of constantly swapping batteries. It really suggests some serious power optimization in the R6 Mark II's sensor and processor.
It's more than just convenience then. It's reliability again. Less battery swapping means less chance of missing a shot.
Precisely.
Okay, finally, storage. This feeds directly into that cost of ownership idea. Both have dual card slots, right, for backup?
Yes, dual slots. Essential for pro work. But the type of cards is where the investment really diverges.
The R5 needs CF Express, doesn't it?
It has one CF Express Type B slot and one SD UHS 2 slot. And yeah, that CF Express slot is pretty much mandatory for handling the R5's huge files, those 45MP RAWs, and especially the 8K video.
And CF Express cards are pricey.
Significantly more expensive than SD cards. And you need fast ones, so yeah, a high-capacity CF Express card can cost you several $100s, plus the reader.
Whereas the R6 Mark II.
Dual SD UHS 2 slots, much more affordable. You can probably use cards you already own, and UHS 2 is plenty fast enough for its 24MP files and all its 4K video modes.
So a much lower barrier to entry on the storage side for the R6 Mark II.
Definitely. And this leads right into that file size impact we mentioned earlier.
How big are we talking? R5 versus R6 II RAW files.
An R5 45 megapixel RAW can easily be 50, 60, even 70 megabytes, sometimes more. An R6 Mark II 24 megapixel RAW. More like 30 to 40 megabytes.
So roughly half the size.
Roughly. Multiply that difference by thousands of shots per wedding or event.
And suddenly, you need way more storage space for the R5. Bigger hard drives, faster computers to process them, more cloud storage.
Exactly. It's not just the cost of the cards. It's the cost of the entire storage infrastructure needed to handle that massive volume of data from the R5.
Okay, that's a really important practical point. So we've broken down the tech, the workflow.
Mm-hmm.
Let's try and tie it all together. Match the tool to the job.
Right. Let's make it actionable, starting with, say, commercial and studio photography.
Where client demands for maximum detail are usually paramount.
Overwhelmingly favors the R5 here. You need that 45 MP resolution for the big prints, the heavy crops, the advertising work. Plus, the R5 has that pixel shift high-res mode for specialized stuff, up to 400 MP.
Irreplaceable for certain niches, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, next up, wedding, event, photojournalism, the run-and-gun stuff.
This generally leans towards the R6 Mark II.
Right. Efficiency.
Efficiency is king here. Unlimited video for ceremonies, interviews. Much better battery life means less stress. The 4050's burst for catching fast moments. Better low-light AF for dark venues. And crucially, those manageable file sizes for fast turnaround on huge batches of photos.
Makes sense. What about sports and wildlife? This one feels trickier.
It's the most nuanced one, I think. It's that classic speed versus reach trade-off.
Nice one.
Well, the R6 Mark II's 4050s and that pre-shooting buffer, amazing for capturing peak action. You're almost guaranteed the shot. But the R5's 45 megapixels give you incredible cropping power if you're shooting wildlife from a distance or action way down the field.
You can crop in heavily on the R5 file and still have loads of detail for publication.
Exactly. The R5 lets you get more reach out of your long lenses through cropping while maintaining quality.
So it depends if you prioritize capture density or cropping flexibility.
Pretty much sums it up.
Okay, last category. Landscape and fine art. Deliberate, high-fidelity work.
Again, this usually points towards the R5. The primary goal is often a very large, detailed print.
And 45 megapixels delivers that detail.
It captures extraordinary micro detail, essential for that final big output. The pixel shift mode is a bonus too.
But is the R6 Mark II completely out of the running here?
Not at all. It's a great alternative, especially for landscape shooters who value portability more, or maybe primarily publish online or make smaller prints. Its dynamic range, especially shadow recovery, is excellent. It can produce beautiful landscape work without the 45 MP storage headache.
Okay, great breakdown. So we've reached the end of this deep dive, the final synthesis.
And the conclusion really is, neither camera is universally better. They're just optimized tools for different priorities.
Right. The Canon R5 is
Right.
the ultimate spec sheet camera.
Kind of, yeah. It's for the resolution seeker.
Mm-hmm.
45 megapixels, 8K video, top-tier EVF and LCD, that top info panel. It's about absolute cutting-edge raw capture capability.
And the R6 Mark II.
The R6 Mark II is the optimized workhorse. It's for the efficiency seeker, the reliability seeker, blistering speed, rock-solid unlimited video, amazing battery life, fantastic low light, and honestly better overall value.
And that value point is key, isn't it? That $1,400 difference.
It's substantial. And like our sources suggest, the money you save on the R6 Mark II body, you can reinvest that directly into better RF lenses, better glass.
Which often makes a bigger difference to the final image than the body itself.
Often, yes. It's about investing strategically in your entire system.
So we've talked a lot about how the R6 Mark II's smaller files save you money on cards and processing time. Let's leave our listeners with a final thought on that. Think about this as you plan your gear budget for the next, say, 3 to 5 years. Forget the initial purchase price for a second. How much extra long-term cost does the R5's massive 45 megapixel requirement actually add to your business?
You mean in terms of?
In terms of needing those expensive CF Express cards, needing faster computers to handle the files, needing bigger, faster hard drives, more robust backup solutions, more cloud storage. What's the cumulative cost of feeding the 45 megapixel beast over time?
That operational drain, that ongoing infrastructure cost. It's something a lot of people probably overlook when they see the shiny 8K and 45 MP specs.
The really crucial question to ask yourself before you commit fully to that R5 ecosystem, isn't it?
It absolutely is.
A question that forces you to weigh maximum specs against maximum sustainability for your business. Something to definitely mull over.
Food for thought.
Okay, that wraps up this deep dive. Thanks for joining us.